Hello there good people, what is up? Welcome, my name is Marco and I'm a full stack developer. In this series, I want to step up the game and develop a project that is very well known, but it can teach you so many things. I am talking about an Instagram clone. I think everybody is familiar with the app. Of course, the UI is going to be different, very minimal, the way I like it, but the basics, the core functionalities will be there. I mean, you can upload images with a message and then comment others and just share it with other users. From a project like this, there is plenty to learn. This is why I'm going to split this whole project into smaller chunks so that it is more manageable and also easier for you to follow. So basically, I will release shorter videos, but more frequently. So make sure to subscribe not to miss a single one. As always, I will start from the front end, but then I'll go on implementing the backend and the database as well. In this case, it will be interesting to see how to organize our data, how to store them. But most importantly, in this project, I'm going to implement authentication and authorization, which is basically logging users in and signing them up. And believe me, this is fundamental for full stack development. There are some best practices when it comes to storing users, storing passwords, setting cookies and sessions and logging out, etc. In addition, there is one fundamental step that makes this project super important, and that is uploading files. Because now we're actually taking pictures into the equation. Now you have to ask yourself, how do you want to store them? And especially, how do you want to set up the API to return the pictures? All these things and much, much more you'll see following this project along. One last thing, if you enjoy this content and would like to help this channel, well then please leave a like and share. I would really appreciate it. Okay, it's finally time to begin. I want to do it from the login and the sign up page because this is a multi-page web application. So I need to think about multiple pages. This being said, let's start. Perfect. So I'm going to start building the login page and the sign up page, and I'm going to have them both on the same page so that I don't have to manage multiple pages. It's all going to be into one. Now, differently from what I've done before, I'm going to have everything into one folder that I'm going to call SRC. And the naming convention really it's very subjective. You can name this whatever you want. You can organize it the way you want, something that works for you. Inside this folder, I'm going to have, as before, a public folder. This is going to host my static files, and inside I'm gonna have also the views folder, and inside here I'm gonna create finally my index.html. And this is not okay, and also let's call it user.html because it's gonna be the sign up and the login all together. Whereas inside here I'm going to have my style.css and my index.js. I can call it client, not to get confused, client.js. Now to test this, I want to see if everything works correctly. So let's say that the JavaScript is like this, and I'm going to save it. Here I'm going to change the background color of the body. I'll put it red, okay. Now the user.html. Now Hamlet shortcut, exclamation point, and I have my boilerplate HTML. User action, why not? And in here I'm just going to put an h1 with I am working. And in here I need to link both the client.js, which is in one folder, so like this, public, and then client.js. And the same goes for the CSS. Yoo-hoo! Now this is up one folder, public, style.css. Beautiful. Now let's watch this file with live server and see if everything is working. Beautiful. So now we got the h1, the background is red, and if I inspect this, I should have on the console, I am working. So the JavaScript, the CSS, everything is working fine. I can start building the page. Let's remove this and save it. Don't forget to save things because sometimes you might get errors. You don't know where they come from and you realize that you didn't save the file. So just a quick tip there. Now, I want to have a container as always because this helps me managing like the responsive side of the application. Inside this container, I'm going to have an h1, which is going to be instaclone. this is going to be my headline, my tag up top, and I'm gonna give it an ID, or maybe a class. Let's give it a class of headline. Is it? Yeah, headline. Why not? Now here I want to have two forms, but these two forms I want them to be inside a div. And the reason for that is because I want them to appear and disappear based on the, what the user selects. So the first form is going to be the login form. Like this, okay? And inside here I'm gonna add the actual form. There's not gonna be any action for now. Now inside the form I need two inputs. So input times 2. Man, these shortcuts are super handy. Let's go on a new line. Now the first one is going to be the username for sure. And the ID is going to be username. We can put tags if we want. Tags, not tags, labels. Let's put labels for now. And this is going to be for the username. And it's actually going to be the username. Now when you have labels, you don't need placeholder text inside, usually, so I'm not going to put it. It's going to be type password. The name is going to be password, of course. And the ID is going to be the same, password. Beautiful. And I need another label here. Yep. And this is going to be for password. Okay. And it's going to say password. All right. Last but not least, I need a button. And this button is going to be a submit button by default. So I don't need to specify. I just specify login. So this is my first form, and I can even give it an ID so that I can select it later. This is going to be my login form. Now I want to copy this exact thing and paste it, because it's not going to be very different. This is going to be the sign up, so basically registering users. It's going to be a little bit different, but not too much, because I'm going to have an input for the username. But then I also want, you can really do it as you want, but right here I'm going to have, this is going to be the username, this is going to be the email, and I need to change this, email and email. This is going to be for the password, which I already have, so I don't do it. I just need to copy paste this right here. Okay, and this is going to be to confirm the password. It's always good to have confirm password. And this is going to be confirm password and confirm password. So make sure to match the name and the ID. It's standard. You could do it, you could also not do it. For the type here of the input, I'm going to put email so that I can have this basic HTML validation for the email. These only make sure that there is an @ symbol. It doesn't really, give you a certainty of an email, but for now it works. So this is a username, this is an email, and it points to the email. This is confirm password, and it points to confirm password. And this is sign, not sing, but sign up. Okay, now I have these two forms. Beautiful. Let's see what they look like. All right, so I have my headline, I have my first form, login and sign up. Beautiful. Okay, I think that the HTML is completely done. Now it's time to pass on to some good old CSS. Okay, in this part I've just added some default styles, so I've basically removed the margin and the padding and gave it a box sizing of border box. I set the font size on the HTML document, so my one rem is going to be 16 pixels, and then I've also gave it a font, and I'm importing the font from Google Fonts right in the CSS, and the first one is going to be Lato for the normal text, which is this one. It's very clean, I like it. And for the headline, just to be a bit more fancy, a bit more fancier, I'm going to use Lobster, which is this beautiful font right here. both from Google Fonts. Just check it out. And now the page should look like this. Okay. So from this first look, you see that some of these things need styling, like need a global styling. For instance, the button is not getting the font family, and also the input is not getting it. So let's set these global styles. I always like to name it global, like this. And for the global, let's say that the button and the input are going to have a font family of inherit. Basically, it's going to come from the body. And right now, you see that the font has changed, and even in my input, my font is the same. Beautiful. Now it's time for some good old styling. Okay, something more might end up in the globals, but for now, I think this is all. Let's call this main styling. Okay, in the main styling, we could have the container setting the width, for instance. So the width can be, let's say, min of 90% and a max of, let's say, I don't know, 720. Can be done. Yep. The margin is going to be 0 auto, so that it centers it, and that's it. Let's try and save it. Let's see what it does. So we got a center container, and now we need to style all of this at once. Okay, that seems easy. So first thing first, the headline is right here, and I'm gonna give it a margin, top and bottom, of, let's be radical, 5 rems, like this. See what it does. It is radical, but I can even say that I have a font size of 48 pixels. Let's work in rem. 48 divided by 16 is 3 rem. Let's put 3 rem. Why not? Yeah, it's a bit larger. Oh, but this is all around. I don't want that. 0. So on the side, it's just going to be 0. Beautiful. My container is also going to be a display of flex, so that I have all the elements in a column. So my flex direction is going to be a column. Okay, like this, which is exactly like it was before, but now I have a flex box and I can play with it. So the sign up form and the login form are going to be exactly the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to style them in the same way. So to select them both, I'm just going to put login form and also sign up form. Did I call it like this? The sign up form. Okay. And here I just want to basically have a display property. And in this case, it's going to be a display of none. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to see them. If I now do this, I'm not going to see them. But then I'm going to do the exact same thing, but with a new class, which is active. You can call it active, you can call it show, you can call it whatever you want. But this is the class that's going to be added with JavaScript, and it's going to give a display of block to the div, so that it is visible. So now I don't have anything, but if I go here in my login form, not like this, but like this, and I save it, now the login form is active, and this is the only form that I see. So this is going to be the logic of my show, not show the forms. Now I can pass on to styling the forms themselves. So I call them, I think, sign up form like this with double under. So I'm just gonna keep it this. And login form, it's the same, but like this. Beautiful. Now I'm actually addressing the form itself, and this is going to be a display of flex. I always like it. And it's going to have a flex direction of column. Remember, Flexbox, the default direction is always row, so you need to put in a column if you want it. So basically one up on top of the other. And also I'm going to have a min width of 100%. So they're gonna basically take all the space of their parent element, which is this. And I can also put like a min width here of 100%. So just to step back from the hierarchy, these divs are inside this container. So the width of this container is going to be either 90% of the screen or 720 pixel. When this 90% gets bigger than 720 pixel, I'm going to have just a limit of 720 pixel. And these two divs are inside, so they're going to take either the full width of this container, which is going to be 90%, or 720 pixel. Okay, maybe 720 pixel is a bit large. Well, we're gonna see. If I save this, I have this inspected. Now, where it is? Oh, okay. You see my container is like this and everything is fine. There is something not coming through in here, which is, oh, because it's an ID, that's why. See, the styling is not coming through. This is not a column. And the reason for that is that these two things are IDs, not classes. So I'm selecting the wrong thing. And now it works. Okay, so the username is going to be who? Like this, and the password like this. Meh. I think we can do it. We can manage it. Maybe 720 pixels is really large. Let's do 600. Yeah, it can work out. Okay, now that we have this, I need to address each and every element. Well, not each element, but to start off with, I'm going to address the inputs inside. And I'm not going to use a gap property on the flex parent, because since I have the labels here, it's going to space out the labels as well. And I don't want that. I want the label and the input to be close to each other, and then each input like have a bit of padding on the bottom. And this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to select the input for these two elements. And the input is going to have a padding bottom like 5 rem, 0.5 rem. And then I'm going to have a min height. Or maybe I can do even a padding. Oh, you know what? I can use a margin. It's much better. So margin bottom is going to be 0.5 rem. The padding is going to be 10 pixel up and down, 15 pixel up and down, and 10 pixel left and right. Okay, if I save it and I take a look at it, whoa, yeah, that's maybe a little bit too much. Let's put 5 pixels. Yeah, it's more manageable. You know what? Who cares? 10 pixel all around, beautiful. And if I write something, it does it, beautiful. And as you see, the label and the input are going to be very close to each other, but the two inputs are not going to be, because I got a margin here. I can even increase this a little bit. Let's put 7.5. Nope. Yep. Okay. Now it's time for this button, this ugly looking button right here. I can select them both like this as well, but instead of this, I'm just gonna have a button instead. Okay. And the button is going to have a padding, first of all, of 1 M top and bottom, 1.25 M left and right. Then I'm going to have a font weight, and that's because I want it 700. I can even say a text transform uppercase, so that it's going to turn it uppercase. And if I save this now, I have this huge button right here, which is not going to be like this big. But now what I can do is, well, first of all, cursor pointer. So I got my little pointer when I hover it. And a background color. I honestly don't know. Let's do black. Nah, black is a bit, let's do black, but like a shade of black. Something that is a bit, and a color of white, of course, because I'm not gonna be able to see the text, and also a max width of 400 pixel. Why not? Maybe put it on RAM. 400 divided by 16, that's 25. Well, that's good. If I RAM, and of course I need to put a margin of 0 auto to have it in the middle. If I can spell it margin correctly. Margin. Let's see what it does. Okay, maybe 400 is a bit too small. Oh, because it's a max width. Let's put a fixed width. Let's put a min width. Let's see what it does. Yeah, like this. Maybe it's too much, 25. Let's just put 15. And I can see now that the border is ugly, and I'm gonna give it a border radius, very slight border radius of 5 rem. And this should turn it into something like this, which is quite, yeah, I don't know if I like it. You know what? I'm not gonna put it a min width. I like this thing. No, wait. Oh, because I did this. If I remove this and I have this. You know what? It's not too bad. I mean, it's super big, but it's not too bad, I think. Let's maybe decrease a little bit the container, like this. I don't know. Say 500. Yeah, it works. And it's also responsive, because if I do this, now it's going to, yeah. I think 500 is the sweet spot. I also want to act on the input, because now I want the border radius, this one, to be 0.5 rem as well. And also the border is going to be a 1 pixel solid, and it's going to have an alpha. It's going to be black, but a kind of a faded black. Like this. Beautiful. Man, it's amazing. Nice. Okay, now it works. And if everything is correct, let's see what the, if I remove the active from this, I want to see the sign up form. It should be exactly the same. This is the sign up, and it looks fantastic. You know what I'm gonna do? So this is the page basically. This might be a line on the center, and we can do it right now. With the style, I'm going to have headline, text line. No, I didn't hear it. Center. So this is in the center now, and yeah, this works. Just to be a little bit more, you know, precise about it, let's give it the button a hover state. So when you go over it with your mouse, and the background color is going to just be this. I'm gonna copy paste, but a bit lighter, like right around here. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna have a transition here for the background, which is going to be, if you want to see if transition works properly, give it a very slow transition, so like 5 seconds. And you put is in, for instance. So now when you hover over it, you should see it changing very slowly. Is it changing? Let's be more radical about this. and put something like super like this, save. And this is, yeah, it's working. Okay, there was no need to do that, but just as a heads up. Now if I do this and I go over it, yeah, you see that it changes color straight away. It's even a bit too much like this. Wait, hey. Okay, now, okay. Now it does it. One last thing that I want to do is like display an error message. And what I usually like to do, you can do it by the input, so beside it. But since this is a little bit too complicated, I like to put it in the form itself. And this is going to be a div with the error message. Okay, and in here I'm gonna have a span, and this span is, let's say, important for what we're gonna do later. Basically, this is going to be the error message. Let's say invalid credentials. Okay. And this is going to have an ID, maybe not an ID, but message. Now this is going to be on top of, yeah, well, I need to multiply this and I need to put it right here on top of everything. So now this is going to be right here. And what I'm going to do also, I'm going to add another span. This time I'm going to put a times like this, and this is basically the X. But this I'm going to give it a class, sure, of close error message. And this is going to be the button, let's say, to close it. And if you look at here, we got this small little X right here. Beautiful. So now I can start styling that, and my error message, I like to have an error message with a padding top and bottom of 10 pixel. This is all around. Gonna have a margin like bottom, I don't know, not too much. I don't want this to be too spaced out. A color of the text is gonna be white. I'm gonna have a background color of, let's put some kind of red, so it's a like danger or something. I like a kind of a desaturated red. I always like this. And font weight of 700, which is bold. Now this gives me this thing. It's a bit too, yeah, it's a bit too much. Let's put maybe a font size of 0.85 rem, so it's a bit smaller, and also a border radius, just to be consistent with all the others, 5 rems. And now we got this beautiful thing. And of course, inside the error message, I want a display of flex. And then the flex, the align items, it's going to be a space between. No, it's justify content, sorry. Yeah, justify content, space between. So it's going to space the elements inside as far apart as it can. And as a matter of fact, the X just goes all the way right here. Now I need to act upon that. I need to select the error message, and that was the close error message. This is just a span. This is going to be a cursor of pointer so that I can, be able to see that I can click it. And also I can scale it, not scale it, let's put a font size. And font size is going to be 2.5 rem. So it's going to be bigger, but I don't want to, yeah, that is too big. Maybe let's put 1.25 rem. Yeah, it's acceptable. I say it's acceptable. And now you see, this is a bit larger, so it kind of messes up the alignment. So I have a display of flex here, and this helps because now I can just say display an align item center. And this is just going to be, realign them. All right. So this is going to be my invalid credentials. I'm going to have everything in here. My sign up works. It's very big now. Okay, this is 100%. So this is how you would see it on a normal screen, like 100% zoom. One last thing we can touch upon is, well, give it a title, for instance, so that you know where you are. And I can give it outside here, and I have an H2 just for hierarchy. This is going to be the login, whereas inside here you're going to have sign up. Just like this, I'm going to have this, sign up and login. And also in the login, I need a kind of a message underneath. I always want it inside the form. And this is going to say, like, already have an account. Let's put it as a span. Already have an account. And I can actually put this into an A tag. And for now, this is not going anywhere. You know what? I'm gonna put this in a button. Yeah, so that I can, let's say, trigger an event with this. So now this is going to be an ID of redirect sign up, just cause. And this is going to be a form message. I can copy all of this. Actually, this should be in the sign up. Yes, it should be in the sign up, because so these I'm gonna redirect to the login because you already have an account, and this is you don't have an account. You don't have an account. This is redirect to the sign up. Beautiful. Now if I look at this, I'm going to have this huge button. Beautiful, amazing. I cannot put it in a button. Let's put it in another span. The good things about span is that you can nest them wherever you want them. And inside here as well. And I save it, and this is going to just give me this. Beautiful. So it's right here. And now I can give the button a bit of margin, but I'm gonna give it to the message. So I have everything into something that's called for message, and it works both ways. Wait a minute. It's for message right here, and for message is going to have a margin top. We can give a margin all around of 0.5 rem 0, so that it's a little bit like farther down. And I can also say a text align of which is right, so that I can move it this side just to be a little bit asymmetric. Why not? I'm gonna increase this because I think it's too close. The font size is going to be a little bit smaller, like 0.85, like this. Yeah, barely you can see it. And then I'm gonna address the redirect sign up and also the redirect login, which are the two spans inside here. So basically this. I'm gonna have a different color. So the color is going to be, I don't know, blue. Let's put a desaturated blue. I like desaturated color, don't know why. Like this. Yep. Must be legible, and also a cursor of pointer. And yeah, it works like this. So basically this is going to trigger the rendering on the page when I already have an account. So I need to go to the login and I click it. It's going to show the login form. And if I take a look at the login form, now I remove active from this like this, and I'm going to put it on the login form active. The login form is just going to display this. You don't have an account, then you click it and you see the sign up form. Beautiful. This doesn't have the beautiful thing, so I'm just going to put it like this. Error message, error message. Beautiful. Okay, now it has it. Okay, I think this is really all for now, and thank you very much. I mean, we've done a lot so far, and stay tuned for more. In the next episode, I'm going to focus on basically the JavaScript to validate the fields and show the forms accordingly to whether you want to log in or sign up, and also the call to the API to log in or registering the users. For now, it is all. Thank you very much. Well, I hope this was helpful. And of course, this was a small piece of the entire puzzle. Piece by piece, you'll see that the final result will be worth it. Next time, I'll focus on the JavaScript for validating the fields, to animating the closing and showing the forms, the messages, the error messages, and obviously to send the request to the API, which, by the way, is not yet built, but it will be soon enough. This being said, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, stay tuned for more, and bye-bye.